Critical blast logistics, getting it done, getting it there.
Electric bolts from a stormy sky, leather wings of a dragon's flight. A psychic sword cuts through the night, a fiery heart standing ready to fight. Southern nights, they rise and soar. God in the south, yeah, they're ready to roar. From the shadows to the shining lights, that they'll protect you day and night. Southern nights. On a catwalk, Teresa struts her stuff, but the fame and attention just isn't enough. When the darkness descends, turning day to night, she takes to the skies with a blinding light. She's a sight to behold, sexy and powerful, brazen and bold. She's turning up for the fight, rooting out evil and shining so bright.
There's a shop on the corner with a sign that glows. Step inside if you dare, where the oddness flows. Ancient whispers echo through the dusty air. Shelves of fallen deities, all beyond repair. Gods and services, musical merchandise. Gods and services, wanna roll the dice. Zeus is in the bargain bin, thunder on the cheap. Hades sells for half off while his minions creep. Aphrodite's beauty faded over time. Now she runs the counter in this celestial five and dime. Gods and services, mystical merchandise. Gods and services, wanna roll the dice. Gods and services, wanna roll the dice. Zeus is in the bargain bin, thunder on the cheap. Hades sells for half off while his minions creep. Aphrodite's beauty faded over time. Now she runs the counter in this celestial five and dime. Gods and services, mystical merchandise. Gods and services, wanna roll the dice. Gods and services, wanna roll the dice.
Get the latest fantasy horror anthology, Gods and Services New Location, from Critical Blast Publishing. Available at criticalblast.com or wherever books are sold.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to The Damn Show on the Critical Blast podcast. I'm your host, Damascus Winsmeyer. Our regular host, RJ Carter, has accepted an invitation to join the Avengers and is currently battling the Beyonder in an alternate reality. Don't worry, though, he'll be back tomorrow. And in the meantime, I'll be interviewing returning guest Izzy Vaughn, who's here tonight to talk about her most recent books, the sequels Xmas of the Dead and the upcoming I Collect Vile Things. For the next hour, we'll be talking zombies, body horror, the perils of dimension hopping Depeche Mode, and maybe even be playing some horror movie trivia. So,
Nice.
hi, Izzy. It's nice to
Hi.
have you back as a guest.
Thank you for having me back.
Oh, my pleasure. The last time you were here was in September, I think,
Yep.
and
Yep.
to promote your debut novel, A Dandy Among the Dead.
hmm
For those viewers who may not have tuned in on that show or who are new, why don't you reintroduce yourself by answering this question? Who are you? Why do you do it? Who are you? What do you do? And why do you do it?
I'm Izzy Vaughn. I'm an author, and I love telling stories. That's
Simple as
the
that.
very simple answer. I just love telling stories. So,
Yeah. How many novels have you written? Like now by this
uh,
point?
I'm about to. I collect vile things. Will be number 5. Yeah, number 5.
Excellent.
So,
Now let's go back to your your talk about your Dandy World series.
mm,
A Dandy Among the Dead was released a little over a year ago. Remind
right.
our audience what the book's about, who the main characters are, and how you came up with the idea.
The story A Dandy Among the Dead came out, yeah, in last year, February the 13th or 14th on Valentine's Day. Um, Post-apocalyptic world with zombies and other creatures, and the dandy is a very high-fashioned goody good who tries to help people in tough times in Texas. She meets up with a foul-mouthed preteen named Ash
Mhm.
and her zombie brother Andrew, but it's okay, he doesn't bite or anything. And in the first book, it's about them uh, traveling across Texas and trying to get to Louisiana so that the dandy can deposit Ash and her brother with her grandfather. So, yeah.
Yeah, I love one thing I love about those books. I love the sense of humor for one.
Mm,
You've got a really good ear for dialogue and
yeah.
very good comedic timing.
Mm,
And I like how each character is very individualized.
mm.
Like some books you read them and they're all the characters kind of sound the same or act the same. Your character is very distinct. Um, the
Yeah,
dandy in
I try.
particular is a very interesting lead.
Yeah, I try to give everybody I guess a cadence when I hear them in my head and when I'm trying to write dialogue or just trying to write their day-to-day stuff. If I write them going to the grocery store, they're gonna act a certain way at the grocery store. So everybody's got their own cadence and how they talk and how they just deal with life and unlife.
On life, I like that.
You know.
Um, where did you come up with the like each individual character from?
The dandy is, I think, just me and like an amalgamation of who I used to be in my younger days and who I am now, I guess. Uh, Still with a bit of hope, and because I don't have any more hope left in this world. Um, it's all hopeless now. But yeah, a little bit of uh, naivete and just quick-witted, and same with Ash. Very she's a 12-year-old and acts like she's 17 or 18. Just very foul mouth. Wants to do everything uh, herself. And I think when she gets out into the world, because before the dandy found her, she had been living in a house, in the suburbs north of Austin, Texas. So, um, and and A Dandy Among the Dead, that's her first time getting out of the house in almost a year. So once she does that, it's very freeing to her, and she, kind of gets over some early initial fears about being out on the road. So,
It's excellent. And you're from Texas, so
mhm.
how much of like the places they visit and everything in
Mhm.
the how much of that is based on like places you've actually gone and that you're familiar with and
Oh
that?
yeah, in Xmas of the Dead, it's like in A Dandy Among the Dead, it was sort of a like a buddy comedy road trip, with zombies. and Xmas of the Dead, it is like a tour guide through Texas, and I think everything is factual to the best of my abilities. I've driven all over Texas, going from Houston to El Paso, up to Dallas a bunch, down to San Antonio and to Corpus. And there's a lot of stuff, a lot of back roads, a lot of towns that are pretty bustling, but you would never know because they're considered like a small town or whatever. But yeah, everything's factual. I think the only thing that isn't real is in Beeville. I think in Xmas of the Dead, they like go through Beeville, Texas,
Hmm.
and Ash has this thing about roadside attractions. That's like her parents never took her to go see roadside attractions, and so um, she makes it a mission that every time she sees like a roadside attraction or a statue, she's got to take a selfie with it. In Beeville, they're like I wrote this saying of, oh, it's a bee and it's on like a sunflower or whatever,
Hmm.
and that's not there. There's no statue yet of a bee in Beeville. There's a sign that says Beeville. It's a honey of a town, so that is factual. So
Yeah. I like how the dandy is always on the eternal hunt for like Depeche Mode CDs and stuff like that.
oh
I
yeah,
like that. 'Cause I'm
it's
a bit,
that goes back
yep,
to me just like driving around, just listening to music. I used to make mixtapes all the time, and then later
oh yeah,
on,
me too.
CDs, and just like pop them in. Go like I used to go driving back roads, um, all the time, like on weekends. Didn't have anything to do, just because gas was cheap back then. Just put in a CD, you know, go cruising. So
Exploring.
yeah,
But it,
and my parents, they lived in like the Houston area. That's where like I'm originally from, and
right?
I used to go visit them all the time. So that's like a 3.5, 4 hour drive between Austin and Houston, and then about 3 hours to Dallas, and then 8 hours to El Paso. But so yeah, it's like it all comes from that. It comes from just driving around and listening to tunes, man.
I said to wear my I got a Depeche Mode shirt on tonight.
Oh, cool.
Out of
Yeah.
the,
Oh, that's cool.
one of my favorite bands, so that
Yeah,
really
me too.
resonated me with the book because I remember when I first held the you sent me the review copy and there was
Hmm.
a quote on the back and I was like I think I'm gonna like this book. I think it was flies on the
Yeah,
windscreen was
yeah,
quoted on the back and I was
flies
like yeah,
on.
I'm gonna like
Yeah,
this.
yeah, yeah. It just fit. It just felt like it fit really well to the book, and because like as fun as it is, and as like I try to keep it snappy, keep it light. There's always the wolf's always at the door, and the zombies are around the corner, and just because it's fun and happy doesn't mean that bad things aren't going to happen. And
Exactly.
yeah.
One thing I enjoy about the Dandy books is that it's not just your standard zombie apocalypse. You
Mhm.
do have like the Romero style shoot 'em in the
Yeah,
head like gut munchers, but
yeah.
there's an ever widening gallery of monsters terrorizing what's left of humanity.
Hmm.
Why don't you describe some of those beasts and what inspired you to put them in your book?
Okay. Um, let's see. There's the gray eye. That's from the first one. Just regeneration. They get regenerative powers or whatever. And I thought I always love um, writing about addiction, and they kind of represent that because they're addicted to human blood. And I explore that a little bit more in Xmas of the Dead. And then there's the Bennies, which are like benign zombies. That's what Andrew is, and they are um, benign zombies. They don't eat people. Um, they have a little bit of control, and when they get shot in the head, a their ghost form appears, which is called the Phantasm form from Phantasm, of course. and they are able to manipulate things and manipulate matter and you know move things to other places. And they're able to know things, and a lot of the information that the dandy gets comes from Andrew. In Xmas of the Dead, they have a campfire talk, and he kind of lays it out on the line because the dandy has been writing the book, A Dandy Among the Dead, to just help people. And um, Andrew is a wealth of information. There's the Buicks, the SUV, like the big tank ones. I always thought those were cool. That's probably from like Resident Evil, just like
I wondered about that.
grotesque, amalgamations of flesh and you know, just grossness and big and bulky. Um, oh, there's the Leviathans, the Levi's that are like 600
Yeah,
feet tall.
huge.
Yeah. And in A Dandy Among the Dead, one plays a pretty big role in what happens to the characters. And it's in Xmas of the Dead, it's kind of revisited or it's talked about. That Leviathan left an impact not just for our characters but other characters as well. So
Hmm.
that was kind of cool to revisit. There's the ghost zombies, which I don't know where that came from. That was like a fever dream thing.
I think that
Basically,
was a
it
really
is,
interesting concept.
yeah. It's basically um, they are people who have been eaten by the Leviathan, and then their ghost is still tethered to this world, and they still hunger, but they only want to devour children. So they will wait in the corner and detect. I think that's sort of what it came from, that feeling of being in bed and feeling watched, like something is in the corner, and if I move, it's gonna kill me. And that's where that character kind of came from. So, and then there's the Withered, which they discover in West Texas. Texas has a lot of different, the hill country. We have the desert, and that's where the Withered are. They are just basically mummified corpses. I think that's where the initial idea was, just because I like that image of just a dried up corpse that just eye sockets are barren and is able to um, still have some sort of sentience, because even though it doesn't have a brain, I mean, these things are totally dried out, and they ride on the big bulky zombies that are their riders. A lot of them are. So, but they live in the desert. They live under the sand, and that came from Shockwaves, actually.
Oh,
The old Peter Cushing, he like played the old Nazi that was hiding out on a
right, right. They
island
come
or
out of the
whatever.
ocean. Right, yeah.
Yeah,
I've seen
yeah.
that movie.
I love, like, I watched that movie when I was like really little, and there's scenes of like these zombies like popping up out of the water, and they got the goggles on, and that always stuck with me. So when I was writing this, I was like, I'm kind of putting that in there. So kind of them
That
like popping instead of water, it's sand.
the I remember the first time I ever saw that movie, I was intrigued by the poster because
Mhm.
for people who haven't seen this movie, there's a
Oh yeah,
poster of the like dripping zombie with the goggles on holding a speedboat, and you're
oh
looking
yeah,
at that going, "Well,
that
where is
one.
this?" Yeah, exactly,
Yeah, there it
exactly.
is.
It's like old school grindhouse style. But
Yeah.
I was like, I remember seeing that like way back in like Fangor magazine, like back in the
Mhm.
'90s, and go, "What the hell is that about?"
Yeah, I saw it on like closed circuit TV in the 80s, man. It was on like a late the late show, You do that with a double bill, like with Vincent Price and the Tingler or something. But yeah, it's all those old influences that just stuck with me, and I'm just like peppering them here and there. So
I remember not too long ago, when I was like 4 years old, I'd seen this movie on TV, and it was the only thing I remembered about it was like a woman opening up like a can with a can opener, and like
mhm.
something crawling out of the can and eating her cat. And I remember when I was like 4, it freaked me out. And for
Hmm.
years, I could not figure out what this movie was
Hmm.
until not too long ago. I did some really heavy research because I mean I didn't have much to go on,
Yeah.
and it was actually Beware the Blob from like 1971.
Oh my
And I
God.
watched, yeah, and that was like the up until that point, I thought The Howling was the first horror movie I'd seen when I was like 6. But
Uh-huh.
after I finally figured out it was Beware the Blob, I go, I have to back that up. The first horror movie I actually saw was when I was like 4, and it was Beware the
Yeah.
Blob,
That's cool.
which by the way was directed by Larry Hagman of Dallas fame.
What?
So yeah, yes. When they reissued the movie in the early
Yeah.
'80s after he got famous off of Dallas,
Hmm.
the producers put the film that JR shot. That was like the
Uh,
tagline on the bottom of the movie.
that's pretty good.
But
That's pretty good.
like the stuff that you see when you're a kid and you have like these half foggy, vague memories of it,
Hmm.
that stuff really impacts you though.
Yeah, I think because when you're young, the world is still open. Anything is possible. And if zombies are,
Right.
popping up out of the water, that's possible. And I think those when, it's almost it's it's kind of like trauma in a way, kind of leaves its mark on you for later on, to monetize in some way.
Yeah, true. But yeah, you have a very uh I like the creativity in the Dandy books. It's not just like standard stuff. You've got like you said, you've got all the creatures in there. You've got
Mhm.
humor. It's not just a horror book. It's everything. It's got like road trip. It's got action. It's
Yeah.
got humor. It's got character. I like
Mhm.
that. I like that sort of everything mixed together feel.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah, I like I always like doing the back and forth stuff. Like I like the
the
just
banter. Yeah,
the yeah, just get to like talk. It's talking, right? It's just talking. It's just conversation. And I really like writing that stuff because that's where you find like the real character, and
absolutely.
it's I think it's the action stuff that I don't I don't know. It's like it's almost like choreography, It's like really fine tuning stuff, how to throw a punch, and what happens, what are the people thinking, and what are they doing, So I like
That
the
is true.
banter. So also like I like describing like really gross things and just to see
Well,
how
that's the
far I could
fun.
really go. Yeah, it's like I'm not trying to make a statement or whatever. I'm just like it's like well, I wonder what I can just come up with. I remember hearing a story way back in the late '70s when George Romero was making or about to make Dawn of the Dead, and he sent a telegraph to Tom Savini and says, "Hey man, let's
Mhm.
you know,
Start coming up with
start
ways to
thinking,
kill people.
yeah, start thinking of ways to kill people." And I love that. I'm like, and that's what I do. It's like what can I do, and then let's just describe the hell of it. Let's get to it. So I like that, and I like the conversation. Not so much on fighting
Yeah,
though.
yeah. I like there is something fun about trying to come up with the grossest,
Mm-hmm.
craziest image you possibly can, because this is stuff that's going to
Mm-hmm.
stick in people's mind.
And it's not
Also,
even violence, really. I mean, like the violent stuff is whatever. I read a book called Ingest Me. Have you
hmm
heard about this? Oh
I have
man,
not.
that one. It is one of the grossest things in like a good way. You're like, ooh, that's really, yeah. Um, yeah. Leslie A. Camphouse wrote that
Oh,
one, and it
cool.
was
I'm gonna have to dig
so
that up. I'm gonna have
yeah.
to find
And
that one.
I, I got the paperback and it's got two extra scenes in there that are just it's yeah, yeah, yeah.
Awesome.
If you like to be disgusted and grossed out and stuff, like
Yeah,
like cause like I grew up on like the gross out movies and it's the same thing, It's just how like instead of Fulci, shooting a splinter of wood going into somebody's eye, it's somebody feeding another person something that they shouldn't.
mhm. But yeah, I think
So.
I love that stuff too because I remember I reviewed a book last year called Inside Out by an author named Laura Gislason. That
Mhm.
was essentially like a, how can I put this? It was like a body horror.
Mhm.
Plague spreads. It escapes from military compound, spreads. It basically turns people into this sentient piles of goo.
Okay.
Um, and there's points in the story. There's like each chapter is like focuses on a different person, and they're almost
Mhm.
like linked short stories. And
Mhm.
the goo, like the goo, like it's almost like people turn into the blob, and they're having sex with each other. They're like
Yeah.
goo sex. I mean, it's just like, I mean, I was reading it going, I love this.
Goose
This is
eggs.
like the most insane stuff
Yeah.
you
Oh
could
yeah.
possibly think of.
Yeah. I
But that
love it.
was
I think it's great. Like self-publishing is such a wonderful thing because yeah, man, you get
there's
points
no
of view that you
gatekeeping
would
anymore.
never experience before, you know? I mean,
True.
like Leslie is from I think the Netherlands, you know. I'm
Hmm.
some idiot from Texas that was lucky enough to get, you know, a copy. So yeah.
But I like, yeah, it's almost like the early days of punk, like back in the
Mhm.
back in the late '70s, where like it's like very grassroots, very ground, very street.
Yeah,
Um,
very
you
DIY
know,
stuff.
exactly, very
Yeah.
DIY. They're not, the majors aren't even like looking at any of this stuff, but that's where all like the
No.
the creative energy is.
Mhm.
It's got that same sort of feel to it.
Yeah, and it's real, you know, it's not like these people are writing about things that are real to them, you know. And I think that's where a lot of the greatness comes from is truth. And when you can write something that is, you know, true to you, it comes through. Um, I mean, that's what I do. So, or I try to do,
Absolutely.
you know. I just write about things that have affected me in my life, and um, yeah.
So, would you describe yourself as a planner or a pantser when it comes to writing? Like, do you like
Uh,
meticulously create like world bibles and scene indexes? Or you just kind of like make it up on the fly.
I just make it up on the fly. Like I'm in it, and I'm just like, and I'll have like a placeholder to go research a name because naming things, like I'm like that's the one thing I'm very meticulous about. I am very specific about naming things, um, or people, characters. So like I'll do like a little placeholder, and then like I'll do a little research, and I'll come back. But other than that, yeah, I'm just on the fly. And then I gotta like go back because I'll forget, right? Because it's just like one night in at 3 in the morning, I'm like, oh yeah, that's really cool, you know.
Oh
2 weeks
yeah,
later, I'm like, what the fuck? It's like, oh right, I did the thing, and okay, now I gotta tie that in, you know. So it's
I've
got
done that
its
before.
it's
I think every
it,
writer has done that. You've
it
got that heat burning at 3 in the morning. You're like, man, this is the best shit ever.
oh
You
man,
wake up the next morning, it's like, what the hell is this? Who
yeah,
wrote this?
yeah. Yeah. I mean, you could always mine it for little nuggets of joy and, you know, goodness, but yeah. Yeah, that's about as close to fever dreaming writing as I've gotten. So,
How many books are going to be in the Dandy World series overall?
so I've got two out now, and I'm at least four more. Two side stories, and then two main Dandy focus books. The side stories are gonna be um, well, one of them is uh, gonna tell the story of a group of Templar who are the religious shitbags of a dandy
Right.
world. You know, it would be a really dandy world if it wasn't for these guys, right? And they're just
Right, exactly.
they're they're red hat wearing good old boys, um, and it's something that it's just I can't really say a whole lot because it would give away a lot of what happened in Xmas of the Dead, but
I see.
uh, it's about something that they do that affects the dandy very, very dramatically. Um, and then the other one is going to be about the addiction side of the Gray Eyes. Um,
Hmm,
it's
interesting.
going to be from this character's point of view where they overdose and because they in their mind it's like like this is great, this world is collapsing, fantastic, but I really love heroin, and my and and the only thing between me and my dealer is about 1 billion zombies, and I'm not going through detox again. You know what I'm saying? So largest hit, and just does himself in. He comes back as a gray eye, and then the real addiction start, or the that other addiction starts. So it's going to go down deep down into depravity, and this person's going to journey to um, this. There's this place in the books called the Land of Red and Black, which is
Yeah.
basically hell on earth, scorched earth, all that stuff, And I've talked about it, but I haven't described really what it is. And this character is going to go, and they're going to go in,
Hmm.
and they're going to find out what's in it,
Interesting.
and like all these side stories will lead into the other two Dandy books. So
Ah, interesting. Yeah, I wondered about the Land of Red and Black because you were mentioning that quite a bit in Echoes of the Dead, and I
yeah,
was always like, what is that?
yeah, it's there's something in there that's causing um the this land that land to be unlivable and scorched,
Hmm.
that this gray eye will venture in to see. So
Hmm. Let's turn to the Don't Fuck with a Trans Woman from Texas series. The
yeah.
first book, The Jetty, hadn't been released yet when you were a guest here the last time.
Mhm.
Tell us what the novel is about and what inspired the idea.
It's about a trans woman named Jerry who needs a vacation. She's about 2 years into transition, recently divorced, works the shit job, just really there just for the insurance. And she finds a really good deal on a beach house on the Texas Gulf Coast. Unfortunately, a cult owns the beach house, and the jetty. There's a spiral jetty that has a little bench in it, and Jerry goes and sits on that bench during a meteor shower and is lowered into the labyrinth of a demon. This demon looks like her dad because the demon takes the form of the thing that you fear the most. So um, she survives round one, but she is kidnapped by the cult and tortured on a piece of blessed stone that the demon has, whatever, and has awesome regenerative powers. So I was able to get really gross with that one. Um, so yeah, and that one's just about discovering yourself and getting over things, and not getting over things, but overcoming fears, and finding who you really are. So, and then
that was that book actually was one of my favorites. And it made it onto my top 10
yeah,
favorite book list of 2024. It was actually number 3.
yeah,
I
thank
was
you. Yeah.
really. I remember when I read it the first time. I was really surprised by the intensity of it, the
Mhm,
action and the in your face, the violence of it.
mhm,
There was some, and I really loved as the book went on, you started layering in these other ideas. There's uh, sci-fi elements. There's like
mhm,
alternate realities, even like time travel,
yeah.
um, and and body horror, of course. And
Oh yeah.
it all just kind of all mixed together into this very heady brew. And I
Mhm,
love the the idea that that Jerry could like regenerate because she had
mhm,
a piece of the stone like
yeah.
accidentally embedded in her. So
Yeah.
then she could regenerate too, and it
Mhm,
just was like, I mean,
yeah.
it was just very intense. What particular movies or books or inspired this?
Um, I can't like I don't really uh, I can't really think of any. Maybe I don't know. I don't know. The thing, maybe the almost like the isolation of it, um, because it's told from her point of view. This is a first person point of view story, and it's really lonely. I think when you're going through this, especially after a divorce, and you open yourself up to somebody and you're rejected, and that is a crushing thing. And uh, yeah, I think just that, just the thing, like just
Hmm.
that isolation, just grossness. Um, uh, and oddly enough, Deadpool. I love comic
I
books
can see
and
that.
comic book movies. And so like it's just like, oh, that's easy, right? You just, oh, they can
Hmm.
just heal, okay, cool. I can be grosser now, I don't have to think about, well, the artery, if I cut the artery, then they're fucked. Um, so yeah, probably those two. Really weird, I know. But I mean, just like life, like it's my life, right? I'm just putting my
Hmm.
life of growing up in not a great household, and fears that I have. Um, you know, when I came out to everybody, it wasn't great, you know,
Hmm.
and so like there's always that fear of like rejection, and especially
Yeah.
when you open your soul to somebody, and they're like, that's not right. That
Hmm.
is crushing. And so like I put stuff like that, and I put stuff about growing up, um, being forced to participate in sports when I don't really, I like sports. Well, sports is, a-okay, they're fine, and so just not for me, you know. So
Exactly.
yeah, yeah,
Because I remember when you, on your first appearance, you mentioned the Jetty had, was you working through some of your personal issues, like from the
oh yeah,
past and everything. And
oh yeah, yeah. It
so,
was like a two
like,
like 200-page therapy session, man. I mean, that's basically what it was, because I wrote the first part of that when I had just come out, and that was like the part where she gets to the beach house and she survives round one with the demon. Like when she's coming back up, I think I had ended it with, I'm gonna get you for this or whatever, bullshit.
right.
Um, and then I didn't like I used it for, to send out to people who were taking submissions for short stories, and nothing, obviously nothing ever happened to it. And then like, I wrote the dandy and I wrote battle, and then I was like, in my brain, I think I had found it. I'm like, that's cool. It's got legs, it's got something. And so I just kind of expanded on it and then continued it. So
Excellent.
um
I think I personally am very glad that you finished it because I really, really liked that a lot.
yeah, thank you.
Just
Yeah.
just the intensity of it, and I love how it ended. Like the ending of that. I'm not going to spoil it for people. Not going to spoil it if you haven't read it.
Yeah.
Seriously, I loved it. Just right down to the very last line of the book. Now, when I
Hmm.
read that, I was just like, perfect. This is like the
Yeah.
perfect ending right there.
Yeah, that's the only way. There was like a bunch of different stuff that I had thought of, but once I get see, this is why I cannot be a planner. I can't plan my stories out, because when I'm in it, when I'm writing it, when I'm watching
You
the
get
movie
good
in my
ideas
head
as you're
of the
going along.
story,
Yeah,
yeah, then it's gonna change. It's like it's just another one of those things. Like I can't lie when I write because I have to tell the truth, because that's the only thing I can do. I can make diagrams and stuff, but when I'm in the trenches, it's the people are gonna do what they're gonna do. And I'm just watching the movie. I'm doing the best I can to write it all down. So,
I
but yeah,
understand that totally.
I really like that ending, and because it was the only way I can end it. And then I liked in the next one, I collect vile things. It's about um, just the residue of trauma, you know, that like, yay, we got through stuff and we killed a demon that looked like our dad like 100 times. That was really super, cathartic and stuff. But you still have to deal with stuff. You still have trauma. You still have to live the rest of your life, and that's kind of
Right.
what I collect vile things. That's just one of the things about it, character wise. So
And I Collect File Things comes out April 20th for anyone who's
yeah,
interested.
yeah. on my
Um,
birthday, of course.
yeah. Oh, cool. I'll remember
Yeah,
that. I'll remember that.
yeah,
That's Easter. That's Easter, I think,
yeah,
isn't it? Yeah.
yeah. It's the first time it's ever been Easter on my birthday too. So
Huh. That's pretty
yeah.
cool. So what inspired the sequel? Like, take us through the plot. Give us a little hint about what the plot is of Watch Like
So
Wild Things.
so Penelope, she comes through the jetty. Hooray for her! She survived the cult, right? Unfortunately, she lost her job because that's a whole lot of no call, no shows. And so, she is without a job, which means she loses her insurance, which means she loses her therapist, which is somebody of great importance to her. Um, and she loses her apartment. Fortunately, there was a character that was in the jetty that she just happened to meet while buying ammo at the local academy, sports and outdoor. That's not a plug. But it's back to those things where it's like you just don't plan out. I'm sitting there writing. It's like what the fuck is she gonna do? Like, who's she gonna live with? She can't live in her car. Well, maybe she can live in her car. But hey, wasn't there that person that was really super nice to her and that gave her the card and stuff? And so I was like, okay, yeah. And so she's you know couch hopping and then living in a guest room and kind of just trying to get back on her foot because she lost one of one of her feet,
Right.
which is another thing. Trying to get a prosthetic, forget about it. The insurance you have to go through. Um, but yeah, and she, going through the jetty and going through, the demonic cult and surviving all of that. She found out a lot about herself and what she's made of, and so she takes a job from somebody who collects vile things, and this person offers her money, which she's in desperate need of, um, because that's the rich. That's what the rich people do. They
Of
dangle
course.
the carrot out and offers her money and points of entry into the labyrinth so she can continue killing demons. So she does what anybody would do, and she loads up and um, uh, takes the job. And this guy wants the cooking pot that Albert Fish used during his reign of terror, which is a very
Right.
vile artifact. I don't know where this his cooking utensils are really. I tried to research it just to pinpoint to see if maybe I can use that in some way. I have no fucking idea. But so
I,
this Goran is the character that is the collector, and he has a stopwatch that actually stops time. And the further away you get from the flow of time, you enter um, a different world. So I think the tagline is, oh God, what is it? There are worlds that exist within fractions of time, and that's a thing I've had for a decade, and I just finally was able to put it in something. So
yeah. I like. I read an advanced
yeah.
review copy of this one. I haven't written a review yet, but I'm going to try to get it up this weekend.
Cool.
But I really liked how it pushes the ideas of the first book. It's like a true sequel. It
Mhm.
pushes the ideas further because there's and there's like the true crime angle in this one because you've got the
Mhm.
Albert Fish stuff.
Yeah.
Um, for people who don't know who Albert Fish is, Google it and be very afraid. That's all I'm going to
He
say.
is one of the vilest people to ever live. He cooked and ate children. So yeah,
And when they tried to electrocute him, okay, he
yeah,
had a habit of sticking needles in his testicles. And when they
his
tried to
area.
electrocute him, yeah, he shorted out the electric chair because of
Of
all the
course he
metal
did.
inside of him. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, yeah.
But I like how I like Wild Things. It pushes the ideas further.
Mm-hmm.
You go further into the time travel, further into
Mm-hmm.
almost like science fiction elements. There's even some
Yep.
like fantasy elements in this one.
Mm-hmm.
That there's
Yeah.
Pegasus characters, and that. I like how there's that mix there. The end,
Yeah.
I really like the ending too.
Mm.
That final battle with the demon creature in the cave.
Yeah, the
That
big
was,
bad. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, she.
because I wasn't expecting that. Like they, because Penelope had fought the four demons. There
Hmm.
was a deceit. Woe. Oh, I
Yeah.
can't remember the names of the other
Yeah.
two.
Menace,
She fights like the
deceit,
big.
woe,
Yes.
chaos. Yeah.
Yeah, she defeats those, and I thought that was going to be like the climax.
Yeah.
I didn't expect that there was going to be like the big giant she creature demon thing in the
Oh
cave.
yeah.
It was
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Yeah. It's that was one of those things where I was just watching the movie in my head. I'm like, I have no idea what Penelope's gonna find. I really didn't. And then it just started. The world changed, and when when she stops time. So like I really tried to cut back on some of the funnier stuff, and I just can't help myself sometimes. But
Hmm.
because it's Evil Dead 2, it's like I'm just trying to recreate Evil Dead 2 in Army of Darkness. That's all it really is. Um,
Yeah,
but
I
yeah,
can actually see
it's
that.
it's in like in the book. I put in this stuff of she goes and tests it out. She tests the stopwatch out to stop time, and she's like clicking the buttons. Like, why isn't anything? I was like, oh, she's clicking the wrong button because that's what I would
Right,
do.
right. I
You
remember
know,
that.
not everybody's gonna be do it right on the first time. And but yeah, and then like she she walks into basically 1940 New York into this other world, with a huge mountain that she's got to climb, and that's metaphor upon metaphor. um yeah, yeah, this one is just chock full of metaphor. Like oddly enough, I got the inspiration from this one from the Divine Comedy by Dante.
Oh,
I
I can
love
see it.
those stories. There's obviously Inferno, Paradiso, and I forget the middle one. It's the Purgatorium. Yeah, Purgatorium.
Yeah, that's
And
right.
this was kind of like her. This was like me putting Penelope through her trials and um, meeting really weird creatures and people along the way. And not everybody is an enemy, and there are beings that she meets that can be kind of helpful, like the Pegasus character. That's not really Pegasus. um,
Right.
uh, and that like that whole character is from a completely different story that I wrote like 20 years ago or whatever. That just came back one day, and it's like, oh yeah, I like that character. I'm just gonna go ahead and put her in it. And in the whole backstory of Clara is the Pegasus name, and
Hmm.
she was created by the imagination of a little kid. And
Which makes sense.
yeah, it was a whole like this story I had was in certain areas, like you could like if you had certain abilities, then being in a certain place because of the magnetic things of the earth and whatever, um, you could, manipulate things. And this one kid could imagine things into existence. And, Clara was one of them because the kid loved the story of Pegasus. And uh, it was, she had the voice of his mom, so, yeah. And
Yeah, I
then
like that. I like that element.
yeah, the demon like the demon stuff, um and then up in the mountain. That's all just that was all just me like just expanding the world. In the first one, Noxidus was only confined to his labyrinth, and in this one, I'm like demons can leave their labyrinth. um and there's other fun little things in hell that I, go through, like
Uh,
angel leather. Angel leather was really like
that
a
was
cool thing
cool.
to, yeah, that was I like that. I like that one a lot. I'll have to bring that back on something else, but yeah.
I like how Penelope names all of her weapons. Like she's
Yeah,
got like
that's a
a
yeah. It's that's a me thing. I can't write you know 200 pages and calling a 357 Magnum a 357 Magnum or a snub nose or this or that. No, it's a character, right? The pulls Johnny B and TJ out of bed. That's that. Yeah. I had to name it because I just can't. Like that was a me thing. That was totally me.
So I know you're a big horror movie fan.
Mhm.
So for
Oh,
this final segment of the show, I've created a horror film trivia game.
okay.
Okay, there's 10 questions, and each question is a description of a movie's plot.
Okay.
Your job is to identify the movie. Okay, and they start off, there's 10 of them. They start off easy and they get more difficult as we go. Let's test your chops here. Are you
Okay.
ready?
Okay. I am very ready.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Number one. This 1991 Wes Craven film follows three youths who break into their landlord's house in an LA slum, only to find the couple who live in the house are sadists who keep a group of pale children locked in a locked pen inside a basement dungeon.
Mhm. Oh, the people under the stairs.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's actually a really underrated movie.
It's very underrated. Very underrated. Very well made, well written, well act. I mean, performances. Yeah. Yeah.
The part when they're like crawling around through the walls and stuff, and that was all
Mm.
like, mm.
That movie
I can
crept
see
me out, man.
I can see shades of Don't Breathe in that movie
Hmm.
if you think
Yeah.
about it.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay, number two. Written and directed by Fred Decker, this 1986 film is about alien slugs creating an army of undead zombies on a college campus and features Tom Atkins as a grizzled cop determined to stop the rampage.
Night of the Creeps.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Dude,
The
Tom
classic
Atkins is
line.
awesome, man. I love Tom
Yes.
Atkins. He's so funny. I've met him a couple of times at conventions and stuff, and
Oh, cool.
he's cool. He's the best.
I love that classic line. Your dates are here and they're dead.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Number three. Widely considered the first splatter flick, this 1963 H.G. Lewis movie focuses on a psychopathic caterer named Fouad Ramses who butchers women with the intent of serving their body parts in his meals as a sacrifice to the Egyptian goddess Ishtar.
Oh my God. I can see it in my head. Oh my God. Devil's Rain? No.
Nope.
Oh God. I don't know.
Blood Feast.
Blood Feast. Oh God. Of course. My gap in
Okay.
my resume right there.
Number four. This 1976 Larry Cohen shocker is about a New York detective investigating a spat of seemingly unrelated spree killings that lead him to a religious cult leader who psychically influences others to commit heinous crimes.
76 Cohen movie. I have no idea.
It's I'll give you a hint. It's
Okay.
not The Devil Made Me Do It. It's
Mhm. Blank.
give up. Okay.
Yeah.
God God told me to.
God told me to. Okay.
Okay. Number five. Almost halfway through.
Okay.
This 1977 Canadian slasher film is about five doctors on a wilderness retreat who are terrorized and murdered by a brain damaged World War II veteran.
77
Hmm.
Canadian. Uh, I'm in Canada. It's the late 70s.
They're all like guys
Is
in
it?
like their 50s. They're all like older actors.
Yeah. Is it a Cronenberg movie?
No.
No, it's not a Cronenberg. Oh my God. I have no idea.
Have you ever seen the movie Rituals?
No. Is
No.
that what it
Oh,
is?
yeah.
Okay.
It's a man. It is a weird ass movie.
Really? That's
Yeah.
cool.
Okay.
I'll have to say that one.
Let's see. Number 6. One of the so-called new French extremity films, this 2007 movie centers on a pregnant mother stalked through her apartment on Christmas Eve by a mysterious woman intent on stealing her unborn baby.
Oh my
They made
God.
an American they made an American remake of this too.
Did they?
hmm This is
2007.
one of what is it?
I'm just talking. It's 2007
hmm
French pregnant woman. Oh my God. No, it's not Martyrs, is it?
No, you're very close
Okay.
though. You're right in the
Oh my
area.
God. Mm,
One of the bloodiest movies I've ever seen, actually.
Is it? It's not Frontiers, is it?
No, you're
No.
so close. You're
Yeah,
so
I'm like
close.
a minute, right? Oh God.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
What is it? Tell
This is
me.
like it's inside because
Inside. Okay. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
those are like the those are like the big three. There's Martyrs, Frontiers, and Inside are like the big three of the
Inside.
new French extremity films.
Hmm.
But that is one of the most insanely bloody, gory films I've ever seen. That's like right up there with like Dead Alive
Yeah.
and like The Sadness. Those are like some
Oh
of the
man.
bloodiest movies I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Number 7. This 1987 movie was filmed in an authentic Wyoming state penitentiary slated for demolition and features Viggo Mortensen as an inmate haunted by the wrath of a wrongfully executed prisoner who's returned from the grave for revenge.
Oh my God. I know. Yeah. Yeah. Oh my God. He did this before Chainsaw 3.
hmm
Did-
What do they
I can
call where they send
see.
you to the slammer?
Huh?
What do they call the place where they send you to the slammer?
Oh. I don't know. Oh, I don't know.
Called prison. That's the name of the
Prison.
movie, Prison.
Oh,
Yeah.
name. Was it, did Kane Hodder have something
Yes.
to do with
Yes.
that?
Yep.
Okay,
He was in
that's
it.
like
Yes, he
I
did.
can see Kane Hodder in the makeup in that movie, and I was
That's
like,
right.
okay, yeah, he's like, oh, getting electrocuted or
That's right.
something. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, he was the guy that comes back from the dead. The
yeah,
person that comes back from the dead for revenge.
yeah. I think that's how he got the Jason movie,
Yes,
the
that's
New
right.
Blood, because I think the director of that one did Jason, something like
That's
that.
right. Okay, number 8. This Texas-based slasher movie stars Amber Heard as the title character, a girl who orchestrates the murders of the classmates responsible for tormenting her friend that accidentally killed a popular student.
Amber Heard, Texas Slasher. What year did this come out?
That's kind of almost tricky. That's tricky. It was filmed in 2006 and
Okay.
it was shown on the festival circuit, but it didn't actually
Uh-huh.
receive a full release until 2013.
God dang. Amber. I don't know. I don't know. I should
Called
know this, but I don't know.
All the Boys Love Mandy Lane.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've heard of that one. I heard. I've not seen it, but I've heard it.
Okay, 2 more. They're
Okay.
getting much harder.
Oh,
Okay.
excellent.
This 1976 movie follows an English couple, Tom and his pregnant wife Evelyn, who arrive on vacation at a Spanish island and discover that the children there are possessed by a malevolent force that led them to slaughter the island's entire adult population.
It's not children before. Children. I don't know.
This is a Spanish movie called Who Can Kill a Child, which has
Okay.
this insane scene. Okay, the pregnant woman there, okay, like
Hmm.
the evil force takes over her unborn fetus and it literally rips out of her stomach. Like it comes to life and
Yeah.
it like kills her from the inside out.
Yeah.
It is insane.
That's cool. That's cool.
Okay, one more. This one's
All
going
right.
way back to the old. This is very old school. This 1945 Val Lewton film stars Boris Karloff as a Balkan general who visits an allegedly uninhabited island, only to find a plague-afflicted town whose citizens are being murdered one by a Greek vampire called a Vorvalaka.
Yeah. Is it Isle of the Dead? No,
Yes,
is
you
that
got
it?
it.
Yeah.
It is.
I've seen that one. I have seen that one. Um, I don't remember if I liked it, but I did see that one.
These are pretty good. Those are fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So what's next for Izzy Ron?
Oh, I'm finishing out the Dandy World. I'm gonna write the rest of those stories and close the book and then move on to other things. I want to move on to I got a book like I love Universal Monsters. I love the old like Mary Shelley's Frankenstein is like one of my favorite books ever.
Yeah,
And I
me too.
love, H.G. Wells' Invisible Man. And there's a lot of those books that were kind of made into those Universal monster movies. And I want to do like I want to do a story about, basically Dracula versus Frankenstein, you know?
Hmm.
Like what I guess what they tried to do with the Dark Universe or whatever to kind of bring all these characters together. I got an idea for a lot of that, and then yeah, it's just keep on writing, just keep on doing the same old thing.
Yeah, Frankenstein the book is so much better than any of the movies too. Like it is
Mm,
so different.
yeah.
I love the book.
Mm.
Okay. Any shout outs you want to give to anyone?
Oh yeah. I made a list because I didn't
Oh,
want to
cool.
forget. I have a horrible memory, especially with names. So, um, so I already talked about Leslie Camphouse, who did Ingest Me. She's working on a sequel to that one, which is awesome, and she does have a couple other books that people should read. Also, R.J. Powell, she did Dollface and Puppet. I have not read those yet, but they sound absolutely depraved, and I love that shit. So check her out. um, CT Class, she has two books out, Wings and No Bird Sings. Um, my thing, like, if anybody listens to this, like, you gotta like look for people that nobody knows about. Look for the Instagram accounts that only have like 100 or 200 followers, and the person is just trying to desperately, sell their book or whatever. Go buy that person's book and leave a review because that means so much to that person. And there's a comic series called Pink Zombie Rose, and the
Oh, cool.
the the people who do that are from like the Texas area and stuff. Um, Mia Ballard, she did Sugar, and We All Rot Eventually. I love Sugar. I thought it was really good, and We All Rot Eventually was very good as well. Eve Harms, she did Transmuted, and then she wrote Chasers with Maria Darling. Drew Huff, she did The Divine Flesh, which was amazing. Allison Rumfitt did Tell Me I'm Worthless and Brainworms. If you haven't read those are fucking gross,
Yeah,
and
I
they
like
are
that title,
awesome.
Brainworm.
River Solomon, the model home was really, really good. I love trauma. I love adults still having to deal with childhood trauma and stuff. And then Mona Kambani, who did The Color of Blood. I love weird characters that have weird special abilities. And The Color of Blood, the main character that has just like a really cool one that's for art, you know.
Hmm.
So yeah, that's it.
Excellent.
Yeah, just go
No, that's
find
cool.
like go to Instagram and Google or you know what, just Google indigenous horror writer, indigenous authors. If you're from a country that has been colonized, do your best to listen to indigenous voices, please, because genocide just keeps on is a big old machine that just keeps on rolling, and they're still and the people are still here. So yeah.
Right. So speaking of that, where can people find you online?
On Instagram, Izzy the author. is my Bookstagram account. I had to make a account because of our friend Algorithm. Because I have my Izzy Loves Horror Instagram account, and then I have Izzy, the author, for my book stuff. And I have a website, www.izzyvaughn.com. Super basic right now, but it's up and running, so that's pretty awesome, pretty cool.
Excellent. Well, I want to thank you for being a guest again tonight, Izzy. It was really fun talking to you, and I look forward to having you on the show when your next projects come out, when the next Dandy books come out. Don't forget, everyone, head over to Amazon, check out Dandy Among the Dead, Xmas of the Dead, The Jetty, and don't forget that I Collect Vile Things comes out April 20th. And if you've enjoyed tonight's show, remember, like, share, subscribe to Critical Blast on YouTube, and that's it for tonight. The damn show is done. Bye.